The value of Double Masters 2022 is crumbling under the pressure. So many people out there are they're short-sighted. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman, thanks for hanging out with me on the channel today, guys. I mean, when you look at the Double Masters 2022 set now being released, and everyone's starting to see the prices fall in the secondary market on all these single cards, the race to the bottom has begun to find where the new bottom will be. But do you think you should rush out because you're losing value right now? Do you feel that need to like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I paid a super premium price on these packs of cards and I got some good ones and the price is just tanking out. What should I do? Do nothing. Don't do anything unless you have to. This is that period of time, that moment where we're trying to find the new bottom. Stores are paying off the distribution. We talked about this last week, where things are just starting to settle out. And that was a lot of product that has been pushed and rushed onto the market. We knew this was coming. This is not new. Some of these cards in this set are not going to bounce back. Other mythics that have been printed too often already that stood at the $5, $6 level, they're going to $1. They're going down in value. But that doesn't mean they're worthless. We'll get to that. You have other mythics where it's the first or second time they're being printed. And yes, they're going to have a significant drop until they find the new bottom, until we see how things start to average out and how much market demand there is for many of the cards that are now being found on the secondary market. How many people really wanted an Imperial Seal? How many people were actually looking for a Dockside, extortionist, or a mana drain? Just because Wizards put it in the set does not mean there's organic demand for those cards on the secondary market. People have got the spare pocket change to trade or buy for those cards. So take a moment and just breathe. You opened a premium product, you got some great cards in your house, and you get to have a blast building, drafting, and having fun with the cards. It is a game after all. The financial component that comes along with this game, yes, it's unavoidable and it is there. But when you're not worried about it right away and you let the new bottom find itself, it'll happen. And then you can see how much damage you did to yourself by buying the boxes, or how far you came out ahead depending on what the growth, the organic need for the cards on the secondary market was. Now, the good news is, some of these cards that are coming around for their first time are probably more likely to bounce back faster than others depending on how often they've been reprinted and where they're found. I'm going to show you a couple of cards today and I'll explain what I mean as we go through, and then we'll get to those lower end rares and mythics that seem to have been printed into oblivion to explain what's going to happen with those, okay? So let's jump to the first one, Dockside Extortionist, okay? Here is the Double Masters 2022 basic one. Average price here, $49.71 US. I'm just going to stick with this right now. You see, I circled it, it's Underland. You can see at one point it was like $75. You know, people weren't sure how it's going to come out. And you see it drop down and it's falling fast, right? It's falling and it's still going now. This is only a few days after the official release. And this is where it's headed. And a lot of people are, you know, they're kind of like, wow, it's really falling. Some players are super happy. Some players are like, this is amazing. The card's falling in price. It's going to be affordable for me. But somebody who is cracking to flip, or a store that has to move product quickly, is probably having a bit of a panic attack, or they've been through this a few times. They're like, it's going to be fine. Some stores don't even put this stuff up for sale right away. They hold it in the back and say, no, we don't have any for sale right now. We're going to keep things steady. When you hold on to your cards longer term and you don't put them on the market and you drip them out, the market value of those cards tends to go up because you're choke holding the supply. If some store trades for a whole bunch of Dockside extortionists and grabs them from everyone in the local area, and those store people hold on to them and don't put them back in the display case or put them online, then locally the price can be a little different than what you'll find on a TCG player or somewhere else. Keep that stuff in mind, guys. But when you look at Dockside Extortionist from the original 2019 Commander, look at this price falling. It is falling in conjunction. It was $75. It's already down to $50. But remember, this is the OG original. This is the first time it was printed. Keep that stuff in mind, because as these fall, you will see some people preferring to grab hold of this, preferring the original one, because we don't know how many times it's going to be printed. And the long-term value of these cards has been shown. If you look at Mana Drain from Legends, which has a lower print run, all that stuff, when you look at that, it's still like $300 US. When you take a look at that kind of method of thinking, an original OG card is going to hold more value. When you look at that Dockside Extortionist from 2019 falling at the same rate that we have the new Dockside Extortionist, varying artwork of course, some people will prefer the new art, but looking at those cards, which one do you think has the bigger print run? Which one's going to be open more often? See, that stuff's very fascinating to watch and see how it evolves and changes over time. The set answer is this is going to bounce back. Just because it's falling below 50 bucks now, it was at 75. I know a lot of people that were after it, so do you. This card is more likely to bounce back because it's the first time that it's come around, that it's actually been available for players to get. That is not always the case though. When we take a look at other cards on the list that we had, here's the new Kozilek, the Butcher of Truth, the borderless version. The average price is 60 bucks and it's falling hard, right? This thing started around that $120, $130 mark. Some pre-sales happen, a few craziness things, but I've seen so many of this card opened online. All those box opening videos happening between the texture ones, the regular one, whatever. It is being printed all over the place and it's really coming up a lot in these boxes. So when you see it coming up that much in a box, when it's popping down that much, and you see people opening them all the time inside the boxes, where do you think that value is going to go? It's not like he hasn't been printed before. He's already had other printings from the original, from the list. Here he is in 2015 with the Ultimate Masters version, and look what's happening here. Look at the red circle there, dropping down to 50 bucks. The new artwork may save certain versions of this card, depending, but Kozilek will not bounce back as fast as something like Dockside Extortionist. They will have varying degrees of elasticity based on how many people wanted to get a Kozilek Butcher of Truth into a commander deck. If you already had a Kozilek or two, or like me, I have a playset from back when Eldrazi came out, I'm not looking for any of it. That's just trade fodder for me. Sure, it looks great, but I'll keep my original ones. If I happen to get some of those, I will trade them off if they have any decent value. If not, I'll probably hold on to them and see if they would bounce back in value, like a lot of stores will. But not every card. The more they print it, the less elasticity it has. Which is why some of these cards don't bounce back after they've been printed too many times. And Wizards will have to wait a decade or two to see these things come back. Now, when we take a look at our last one here. Here we have, oh my goodness, it's the Imperial Seal. Portal 3 Kingdoms, 1999. This is the first time it's been printed, okay? Other than the Judge promo, right, which was very hard to get, of course. When you look at this, it was $2,000 in May of 2022. $2,000 US. It has dropped a bit in price, but not very much, okay? Because the print supply of Portal 3 Kingdoms in 1999 is a lot different than what we're seeing right now, okay? When you take a look at our beautiful Double Masters 2022, it looks like this guy is just sliding down a Hot Wheels track. The car is at the top of that red, these little circle there, put your Hot Wheels car on and look at it just take the ride down. It is just sailing fast. But some people were telling me, oh, it's going to drop to like 50, 60, 70 bucks. If it does, there will be flippers and speculators waiting at the bottom of that hill to pick up the shattered pieces of a premium product. Because if they can corner the market and get thousands of copies, chokehold the supply like we just talked about, but en masse, they will set the price. And if you trade yours in and then later on wanted to get one, it's not going to be 50 bucks. And why would someone trade one? If it goes to 50, who's going to trade one in at $25? Are you going to be the one to trade in an Imperial Seal for 25 bucks? Are you trading your Kozilek in for $20? Because that's what you're seeing right there. Stores are going to give you 50, 60 cents on the dollar. Are you going to do it? No, you're not. And guess what? No one else is either. They're not going to trade them in. And if they're not going to trade them in, then it stands to reason they will start to bounce back. Maybe not right away. A lot of product flooding the market. Stores don't really care. They got to move the product out the door. Remember, they got to sell it. But all the players out there who are buying this product, who are picking this stuff up and saying, I got some right here, man. I opened this up. I got two Kozileks. I got Dockside Extortionist. I got Mana Drain, Force of Negation. And so did a lot of other people. You're not going to be able to trade that stuff in and say, oh, I'm going to get like $70 for this and $80. No, you're not. You're getting 25 bucks, 30 bucks for now. If it keeps falling, you're going to get even less because those stores are cracking it. They are flooding the market with this stuff because they've got to move it. They got to get it out the door. They don't want to hold on to it. It's hot potato. They don't want to be one holding that potato at the end. They want to pass it to someone else. Remember that. If no one else is buying, then no one else is selling. And if everyone is already sold out and the market is flooded and everything's super cheap, you're not trading it in. You are holding it for a longer period of time, waiting for the market to resolve itself, to find that new bottom price. And then after 12 to 24 months, when things have stabilized and slowly started to rise because we're between two periods of a type of premium product, right? Then that's when people start dripping stuff back into the market. But you do not want to be the one who sold out cheap thinking the value was crumbling around you. This is not Pompeii. It's not going to be buried under ash. It's not gone. It is in a slow recovery mode. Because some of these cards will take a little longer to bounce back than others. But I don't want to see players out there trading in very good value cards for peanuts, for pennies on the dollar. You bought that premium product to have some fun and crack it, but you also were looking for particular cards. If you didn't get them now, that doesn't mean you jump out and pay the premium price for some stores when some prices are still falling. And you're not going to trade in decent cards that will bounce back to get less to get a card you wanted to get that was already falling. You see what I mean? It's like a cycle. No matter what, the stores, the LGSs, other people will come out ahead and you are sacrificing potential wealth down the road. We have seen this before. A lot of these cards like Kozilek have been printed before, and you can look back at the history of those cards. You can actually look on MTG Stocks and other websites, other YouTube videos, other content creators, and see how charts have ebbed and flowed, how cards have gone up and down based on what's out there. These cards are all reprintable. These are not reserve list cards, people. Reserve list cards aren't coming back. These ones are. When the reserve list spikes up and down based on the market, it's usually people doing the mini buyouts and stuff. When this happens, it is organic demand generally. There can be for the reserve list, there can be organic cards that just a new combo gets found, but they have a much longer history of being bought out than these type of cards. But that doesn't mean choke holding certain areas of cards doesn't happen. If a card goes that low, people are going to be at the bottom waiting to pick it up. The pieces of a premium product, it's a lot of P's to say, right? They're going to be gathered up and collected. I was joking with somebody. I said, if it goes to the bottom at 50 bucks a pop, you think I won't find money to buy multiple copies knowing it's going to bounce back? I will find money. And I will buy as many copies as I can afford without hurting friends or family, hold on to them, and watch the returns roll in later on. And it doesn't mean it has to be an amazing card. It has to be a good card that people want. And that's why there's certain cards you can say, this card's going to bounce back, other cards are not. It's just the way it's going to be. It happens that way. There is no perfect world where everything works out every time. But when there's a history of seeing how these cards react, you can take a little bit of time, gauge it out where you think a card's going to go. Make an educated guess at least. That's why some of you guys watch these content creators like myself, because we've had a longer experience doing it. Some of us buy and sell cards ourselves en masse. It happens all the time. Don't panic. Don't rush. Take your time. This world is not crumbling. Things are not falling into the void. Some of these cards, though, like low-end guys like, Lord of Extinction, Cetius the Trader King, those kind of cards, I agree, are not really going to bounce back the same way. But now that we're near the end of the video and everyone's left, let's talk about those low-level cards, the Lords of Extinction. It doesn't mean they're not playable. It just means Wizards has pounded these guys into oblivion. And while the stores are happy, they are happy when you buy the higher-end cards, they make massive amounts of money off the low-end stuff. When players are coming in and they're buying a $2, $3 card and they buy 3 or 4 of them, they buy the Trader King, who was at $9 and now he's $2. But that store opens so many cards. And they have the distribution network already set up. When we try to sell cards as single people, if I tried to sell the Trader King at on eBay, what am I going to sell them for? $1.50 to undercut? and then I still have to ship it and stuff, right? So eventually I don't do that. I take a bunch of those cards and I take them to an LGS at $1 a card, $2 a card. I have 200 or 300 of them, and I go, oh, I'm going to get, this much money. And I get like, 120 bucks, let's just say. But it was 200 or 300 cards. If I had sold those individually, I probably would have lost money because with eBay fees and everything, it's hard. But those stores are set up to generate that kind of money. They make a fortune off of those lower end cards when they sell 4 for a few bucks because they're doing it with other orders. They get discounts when shipping through places like Canada Post because their account is so large. They're shipping hundreds of thousands of packages if they're a big enough LGS. All those dollar bins, the $2 cards, the $3 cards that we don't think about, it's just a cup of coffee. They're selling those every day. There is tremendous value inside those cards. But we as players don't have access to move them in the way that a store does. So don't feel bad about that, but understand that that's how it works. So you're saying, why would I trade that card in for 75 cents? Because you probably don't have another option available. So trade it in, move on to a card you want. But if you ever think you're going to need that card down the road, don't trade it in. Put it in a pile somewhere inside of a card thing, label them off, make sure you know what sections everything's in. And then if you ever need that card, you probably just saved yourself $2 down the road. Instead of having to buy it for $2, you already had it in stock in your own little collection of personal cards, which you think you might need at some point. It's a real bone to pick, but there's not much we can do about that one as far as I can tell. Just keep that stuff in mind. Well, thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Don't fall into the void. Don't go into the bottomless pit with your cards. Hang in there and see how things turn out. There's going to be a brighter day around the corner when the new bottom is found and we see how the elasticity works for some of these cards. And you know what? You guys just have an awesome day. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling with me. Looking forward to seeing the comments in the comments section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, support the channel, and have a rockin' day. Have a great day wherever you are in the world of Magic. Play the game. It's a lot of fun. I'll see you guys soon. Hey guys, a big shout out goes out to all the fantastic patrons on the channel who support me each and every day. Patrons make the world go round. You guys know it's true. Have an awesome day, everyone. Hey guys, welcome back, special people. What do you think? Are things going to bounce back? Let me lay this on you. When you think that this mass collector's box opening we've been seeing all weekend from all these places, when those are all done and open and everyone's gone to their LGSs and picked up their product and opened everything, it's amazing, right? Great! That's fantastic. But guess what? At the same time, after it's done, it's done. It's not like there's going to be thousands more boxes coming to market for people to buy. Collector boxes are one and done. That's the one good thing about them. Whatever's out there will be out there. They're going to bounce back. People don't rush out there, man. I don't know what people are thinking. They think in terms of a meter instead of a mile. They think short term when this is a long term game for those who are thinking on the financial side of things. You think in terms of decades, not weeks. I don't know. It's just the way it is. You're the special people. You guys get it. Have some cotton candy, maybe some nachos and cheese. Put it on the side for me. Jalapenos, shredded bacon, extra mozzarella. And we're good. We'll chill out together, all right? Have an awesome day, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.